taking out, and it's probably out of this world. I'm a model of the world, I'm a represent God on this earth. In and outside of the church, the Father is first. I don't have a physical Bible, but baby, my Bible that broke. I know God is the one that supplies me with all that I need. That is through Jesus Christ, and I'm certain that all things are possible if you believe. So keep on speaking life from the love of God, that nothing can separate me. Not even death, either life. I know poverty catches up with too much time on sleep. So I'ma just keep it nice, and the Lord is my strength. Ooh, shit, I'll be afraid of. I fall on my knees and repent. It's better than what I done gave her. If I even know I'm being sinned, Satan gon' see what I'm made of. Man, if you have any sins, I'm telling you now, you change up. It's the delicate thing. With the king, I put that on everything. With the mess I'm clean, I'll mess with the devil extinct. I love and respect Elohim, he be setting the street. We know that all things are working together, declare and decree. Do you know of all the things God has prepared for me? No, it's never been seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we talking about? Let me run that back.
I've been in the world, but I've never been friends with the world. Maybe because I'm not of the world, I don't follow the world. Even if I'm meant to take it out, then it's probably out of this world. I'm a model of the world, I'm a represent God on this earth. In and outside of the church, the Father is first. I don't have a physical Bible, but baby, my Bible that broke. I know God is the one that supplies me with all that I need. That is through Jesus Christ, and I'm certain that all things are possible if you believe. So keep on speaking life from the love of God, that nothing can separate me. Not even death, either life. I know poverty catches up with too much time on sleep. So I'ma just keep it nice, and the Lord is my strength. Ooh, shit, I'll be afraid of. I fall on my knees and repent. It's better than what I done gave her. If I even know I'm being sinned, Satan gon' see what I'm made of. Man, if you have any sins,
the Bills put a smack down. The Bills put a smackdown on the Denver Broncos. Listen, there comes a time where anxiousness sometimes can be mistaken for nervousness. And I battled with it back and forth to see, am I losing my mind? Am I on top of things? Am I tripping? Ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to see a playoff game where there aren't any questions. There aren't any questions. Well, was it because of, no, this was domination. This was, we handle business. This was, we're at home. And this was veteran quarterback, rookie quarterback. That's exactly what we needed to see. We needed to see the differences between the two. We needed to see adjustments made. We needed to see the Bills being able to run the football at ease. We needed to see the Bills defense show up. Did we not see the Bills defense show up today? Did we not see them make some adjustments? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another stream, Buffalo Fanatics. I am your host, Rico. My man Zbot is celebrating somewhere with his father somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But we will catch up. I'm sure you'll see Zbot sometime tonight, if not tomorrow. He'll let y'all have it. But right now, it's us. We having a good old time. We're going to chop it up, and we're going to see what's good, what's not, what worked, what didn't, what got us over the edge on these Denver Broncos. Were we overhyping these Denver Broncos? Was there a reason for it? Did we see enough from the defense? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Did we see enough from this defense? Folks, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it live right now and direct. Let me get my other laptop cracked up, ready to go. What stood out for you? What did you like? What didn't you like? What do we need to improve on? This is your time to kind of gather yourselves and jump in the chat. Most folks will say, hey, man, Zbot was scared. No, Zbot was not scared. Zbot was just anxious. We were anxious. We weren't sure what was going to take place in this game. But here we are with a 31-7 victory. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, shout out to everybody tuned in right now. Do me a favor, smash that like while you're here. If you are here for the first time, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, hey, no shame. Come on through. Enjoy it. Let's talk about it. Because what I like to do when we do these streams is I don't want to just sit here and talk about these Bills and what these Bills were able to do. Let's talk about these Denver Broncos first. Because what were we talking about all week about these Denver Broncos? 63 sacks. These Denver Broncos are going to get after Josh. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. This is going to be the battle of the trenches. We talked about this. Who wins the battle of the trenches? Who gets more push? Who doesn't? Offensively, are they going to overwhelm us by sending exotic blitzes? Are they going to try to throw Josh off? Is our defense going to get enough pressure to get on Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton's behind? Are we going to be able to kind of corral them? Are we going to have to? Those questions were answered this game. And it was clear by looking at the score at 31-7. And one could make an argument that this could have been an easy blowout. This could have been a blowout. Had it not been for a breakdown on defense, I'm sure the film heads are going to jump in there and try to figure their way out and let us know if that's how this was just a breakdown. Did this actually really happen? So we'll leave that to the film heads. From what I saw, that's just a quarters defense. My man split it too easy, walked to the end zone. We can't have that. But that's the beginning of the game. I think it's a lot of nerves, but a 31-7 win I'll take. So where do we begin? Let's begin with Josh Allen 1-7. Let me tell you something, folks. Love me my quarterback. Love me my quarterback. Why? Josh Allen, 20 for 26, 272 yards, 10.5 yards a pop. My man was on it. Every pass, it looked like he put it where he wanted it to. If I want that deep shot, I'm gonna take it. But you know what? I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna let my guys do what they do. This was the big underrated point offensively that some guys might miss, because Josh didn't force anything. And we know that. He hasn't forced anything all year. He's been taking what the defense gives him and letting his offensive pieces go to work. Love to see it. 20 for 26, 272, 10.5 yards per pop, 2 touchdowns, donut interceptions, donut turnovers. Folks, how lovely is it that we can talk about our quarterback doing all these great things on offense, but you get an asterisk next to it, but he threw 3 picks. Oh, and he turned the ball over here. There isn't that type of chatter. And that's why he is firmly in place to potentially win his first MVP. But that MVP chat is out the window right now. I want to get into what Josh Allen means to this offense. This offense flows through Josh. It flows through Josh. And he's got such a poise about him. He's got such a calmness about him. And he's got everybody tuned right in, all with him. Everybody's on the same page, from the O-line to each tackle to the receivers. You saw it today. Now, one thing that I want to touch on with Josh, not only is he so dangerous with his mind, dangerous with his legs, dangerous with his arm, it's hard as a defensive coordinator to stop a guy like that. I feel bad for these Denver Broncos. And I said it. I said, now that I kind of have myself together again, wasn't I telling you guys this? I feel bad for the Denver Broncos. Exactly what I said. I feel bad for the Denver Broncos. Why? Because there's a lot of guys on that team that got a chip on their shoulder, and they're about to prove it. Josh Allen being one of them, James Cook being another. You know what I'm saying? You got Curtis Samuel being one. You name it. There was guys on this team, offensively and defensively, that had something to prove today, and that's exactly what took place right this game. So Josh Allen continues to show us why he is that dude. He continues to show us why that he should be the MVP, and we'll see it in just a short few weeks. We got a big matchup next week, but it's not about that. It's about what we have on this roster right freaking now. James Cook. James Cook today, 23 carries, $120, 5 yards a pop. He was finding his seams. He was being carried by his linemen, right? Even when he looked like he was taking a loss, he's bowling his way to find room and find a crease to get his first downs and so on and so forth. What a tandem it is to have both Josh and James in the same backfield. I've said it before weeks ago. I'm going to say it again. My bad, brother. I was not familiar with your game, baby. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. And I'm beginning to see a lot more decisiveness out of James Cook. I'm starting to see a lot more him taking ownership of this position, because his rookie season, second season, you're kind of like, okay, he's got it, but he's not putting it together. It seems as though he's putting it together right in front of us right now. Great job by Listen, James Cook is going to be a key piece in how we keep teams offset. If you look at what we were able to do today, 26 passing attempts, 44 rushing attempts. That's all keeping things honest, keeping defenses honest, because you can't just sit here and stack box on James, because if you do, you got to deal with the dog on the outside. If you want to turn your back and play man all day, you better account for James Cook. You better account for 17. James Cook, what a balanced back he's been for this team. You love to see it. Continue to see great things by James Cook. You love to see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many running backs or teams that can run the football. I don't know how many teams that can run the football that got 3 backs that can really do it. Honestly. I don't know how many teams can tell you, I got 3 backs that if one goes down, Lord forbid, God forbid, one goes down, I got 2 just ready to go. Ty Johnson. How nice is it to have Ty Johnson as a depth piece on this team? Ty Johnson being able to kick return. Ty Johnson being able to catch the ball out of the backfield. Ty Johnson being able to go deep if we need Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson to get the nitty-gritty yards. He was able to showcase every part of his game tonight versus these Denver Broncos. What an absolute underrated piece that we have on this squad. You got to give these guys credit. This guy can sit here and be a bench player and just call me when you need me, and I'll kind of give you a couple what I can, but it's not what this brother's able to do much more. 4th and 1. How nervous were y'all on that 4th and 1? You're sitting here going, okay, we're most likely going to push. It was about a yard and a half. We're going to push this thing. So go ahead and get your formations right. Let's get rolling. All of a sudden, you see Josh Allen in shotgun. You're like, yo, what's going on? Okay, are we just trying to mess around? Okay, here we go. Here comes Tony Romo saying, okay, bring the running back in. Okay, here comes the running back. Okay, here we go. Josh Allen takes the snap. I'm freaking out at this point. I don't know about y'all, but I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, we're up, but we ain't up. You feel me? So Josh is moving around. He's shaking around, and he can't find a soul. Nobody's open. So what does Josh do? Josh does what he does best. Buy me some time. And he does it with such smoothness. He does it like butter. It's like butter with Josh. Then he finds Ty Johnson at the back of the end zone. You should see social media right now. Social media right now are still hovering over. Did he catch it? Did he not? Was his foot out of bounds? You should go see Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp is adamant. He didn't catch that. Bro, caught that. Not only did he catch that, his foot was in bounds. What concentration from Ty Johnson, what body control from Ty Johnson, and the trust that Josh Allen has to deliver that football, and you better be there to get on the other end and catch that ball. Yo, big shout out to Ty Johnson. Not many teams, like I said, can sit here and tell you, I got 3 backs that can do it all. My man says Shannon Sharp's got issues. Yo, he does, man. I swear he's got something against our team. I don't know what it is, but he does. So let's keep it pushing. Because I'm looking at what Josh has been able to do, what the running back's been able to do. I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, and I said it in our pregame show this morning. If you didn't catch it, go ahead and catch it afterwards. I said there are guys on this team that haven't really fulfilled their duty on the squad. And there's one name that I need. I need something from this guy. I need it. I said it on Bleacher Report a couple weeks back, said it the week after that. But I'm going to tell you this. Looking at what Curtis Samuel was able to do on that reception, looking at what Curtis Samuel was able to do on a couple receptions, Curtis Samuel had 3 receptions for 68 yards. All 3 targets caught. You gotta give some credit to Curtis Samuel coming through, and actually Joe Brady and Josh Allen finding a package for him. We've been saying it along. Find a package for Curtis Samuel so Curtis Samuel can do what he does in space. If we can utilize that brother a lot more, how dangerous can this offense be? You love to see those type of connections happen all the way through. And by the way, shout out to my guy, Pierre, coming in. I don't know if 31 points is nice. I mean, you took a couple shots. I'm sure you're feeling nice right now. The insides are warmed up. Big shout out to my man Pierre, but big shout out to Curtis Samuel. You'll love to see it because we've been wanting way more out of Curtis Samuel. We've been wanting way more out of Curtis Samuel. It's just that it just hasn't panned out. Whether it's just other guys are stepping up, there just hasn't been a patch for him. There hasn't just been his moment to shine. But boy, do we like what we see when guys start to step up. Curtis Samuel. I hope to see a lot more from Curtis going forward because those type of plays and players like that have the ball in space can do wonders for Josh. Josh can just chill, dump off, and let you do what you do. You got to love it. You absolutely got to love it. So when Curtis Samuel is a healthy guy, thank you, Bills. Bills 7883 comes in. When Samuel is healthy, he's been a legit weapon. The dude has been good his whole career. He didn't forget how to play all of a sudden. That's for sure. He certainly didn't forget how to play. But sometimes when your number is called, and this is what it comes down to at the end of the day, when your number is called, do you pick up the phone? That's what it comes down to. When your number is called, do you pick up the phone? And that's exactly what took place today as this game plays out. So I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball. We're going to get to Denver because I got to give Denver their flowers as well because they had some moments and some guys that stepped up, right? Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir. Can we give some love to Khalil? Khalil, knowing that Brandon Codrington went down today, was a scratch. Obviously, he's dealing with nursing his hamstring. It's so lovely to be able to see a guy come in and say, you need a punt returner? I got you. Oh, by the way, do you need a couple plays on punt return? I got you as well. What a gem Khalil Shakir has been all year. Over 800 yards receiving this year. He's been one of Josh's best receivers. And the more these guys are together, the more I see great things going forward, great things for the future. But you'd love to see what Khalil was able to do today. He was able to catch football. When he catches a football, it's not him going down. And this is no shade on Cole Beasley, but you guys remember Cole Beasley? Cole would catch and go down. He's not one to get the yak. And the biggest thing that we need from our receivers, and the biggest thing that I think Brandon Beane observed that we needed with his defense was with his offense was allowing guys to get in space and get the yak. And Curtis Samuel is one. Take a look at what we got. Curtis Samuel being one of them. Khalil Shakir being another. You remember the Pittsburgh game last year. Came through clutch, handled business, kept on going. So I love what I'm seeing from this squad. I love what I'm seeing from Curtis Samuel, but I love to see Khalil Shakir get more involved. He can be so good if you make him a feature in this offense. But what I also love about this offense is if it's your day, it will be your day. If it's not, you got to be humble enough to do the rest of your job correctly while others shine, because we may come back and look at you and you need to make a play for me. So big shout out to Khalil Shakir. Love to see what this offense has been able to do. 20 receptions amongst that group. Nobody's killing it. Our leading receiver in terms of yards was Curtis Samuel. It goes to show you how much you can spread the football around and how great we were, because we had 13 different receivers catch touchdowns this year. 13 of them. And this was on full display today. We're seeing how many footballs were being spread around and going to each player. Love what we see coming from this team. Now, offense did their job. But the biggest gripe that Bills fans would always mention, the biggest gripe that Bills fans would always come up with is defense. It's always been that way, right? Can defense step up? Can defense show us that they can come in and make some crucial stops and get these things going? I ask you in the chat, did defense answer the bell today? Did they do enough to show you, okay, we got something? Because we're looking at that first blunder. where Troy Franklin caught that, 47-yarder, 43-yard for a touchdown. But other than that play, there wasn't anything that stood out that was really a problem for the defense that they could not handle. We were on top of it. And the biggest thing for me was them being able to get after the run. Yes, I know. The Denver Broncos aren't a team that is known to have big-time runners. Already know that. We are aware of that. We understand that. But playoffs is a different ballgame. We've always had challenges stopping bigger backs, big, strong backs where we didn't want to tackle those things, etc. Javonte Williams is not a small back. And we were able to corral this defense to keep them at 79 yards rushing. 79 yards rushing. That was Ed Oliver coming through. That was DaQuan James holding the mark, holding the point. That's Greg Rousseau coming in and holding the edge. We were able to make our tackles. Terrell Bernard, whenever he sneaked by, Terrell Bernard was on it. Love what a defense looks like when they're healthy. Let's keep it a buck. When we played the Ravens, y'all remember, when we played the Ravens, they ran amok all over us, just like what the Ravens did to the Pittsburgh Steelers. How sad that was yesterday to watch this guy just run for almost 200 yards rushing. We were able to kind of get in position, mind our gaps, and be able to make our tackles. This prepares us for next week. Being able to go up against big backs, it's a different type of back, but being able to go against big backs and make the crucial tackles, because that was the biggest thing that we needed to do was do not miss your tackles. Get in there, get natty, get nasty, get gritty, and make your tackles. And that's exactly what we were able to see going into this game. Defensively, Terrell Bernard led the way with 6 tackles. Matt Milano seems to be gaining ground. Matt Milano, we knew he was going to have some struggles. We knew that he was not going to be in football shape. He needed time. 4 games into the regular season, going into this game, we're starting to see Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano come together. Terrell Bernard and Matt Milano come together. Now, is he at peak shape? Is he in peak football shape? Maybe not. But he's much better now than he was 3-4 weeks ago. And you'll love to see it, and it's only going to get better. Now that these Ravens are coming to town, don't forget, we didn't have Bernard. We didn't have Matt Milano. We didn't have Taron Johnson. 3 key players on this team, 3 key starters on this team. You insert those guys, you might even see a little bit more Dorian Williams get in there. And now we have ourselves a stout defense ready to make some stops against the big-time backs. I'm gonna say this, though. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. What Pittsburgh did to Steelers last night was nasty work. Absolutely nasty work. Let me tell you something, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a game plan. We are not going to let Derrick Henry run amok all over us. They did. It didn't matter. But the point was, if someone's going to kill us, it's going to be my man Lamar. And he did. Lamar had, 60 plus yards rushing that game. But here's the reason this was able to work. The more they keyed on Derrick Henry to corral him, they were letting my man just run loose. Lamar was running a buck. And then all hell broke loose. And then Lamar started handling the football off, and now there was confusion, and now Derrick Henry's rushing for 200 yards. So this game coming up, we're going to have to be so freaking disciplined. We're going to have the right bodies, the right personnel that is able to take these boys down. So we got to watch to see what teams did to take these boys out and maneuver. And I bring this back full circle to this game here, was the defense knowing what was at stake, what was important, stopping the run and not allowing the big plays. And they did allow one that kind of start the game off, and you're like, okay, the Bills are down 7-0. Kind of worried. If I'm asking y'all a real question, Bills are down 7-0. Were y'all worried? Were you guys worried when the Bills were down 7-0? Because I'm sitting here going, if you guys are going to keep it a buck, damn, they just went up and scored. Because remember, me and Zebot were talking. In a game like today, do you give the game ball Do you give the ball for these guys to start off and wait till, you know what I mean, the defense makes a stop and now Josh takes over, he scores, and now we run away with it? Remember we were deciding, do you give the ball, do you take the ball? What's going to be? They gave the ball up. I kind of liked it. That's what I wanted. The crowd's in it. We're about to make a stop. We're going to give the ball back to Josh. Josh is going to do what he does. Let's roll. Bro, when Bo Nix found Franklin down the seam, I said, what? I was like, no. Is this happening? I'm looking at my man Andrew, and I was like, all right, I guess we're gonna make this a game. The defense is going to turn out the way they normally do. When playoffs start, here they come being bums. That's me being a fan. So I'm a nervous fan. So I'm like, all right, let me chill. They just started 15 scripts. You know the first 15 plays, it's all scripted. But once football really begins on your second series, that's when you're like, all right, now that we got our 15 plays in, let's see adjustments, let's see how we can play. But I'll tell you right now, when that touchdown happened and these Broncos were up 7-0, something I hate is being down to a team early, and now we have to come back, and ultimately puts a lot of pressure on the offense. You got to score. You got to put points on the board, because if you don't, you give the ball back to this offense, potentially going 14-0. That's exactly what happened to us going up against, I think, or similar to the Rams. And then that punt happened, the punt block. All hell broke loose, right? So those are the situations you try not to be in. So when I saw that 7 points go up, I was like, okay, we got something here. Until we all settled down, and then we were able to kind of corral it and get our act together. But I will say this, though. It was an eye-opener. It was an absolute eye-opener when that fake punt happened. Oh! Tell me y'all didn't freak out when that fake punt happened. Because I'm sitting here going, okay, big defensive stop. We'll get the ball back. We're down. So what? I think it was like 7-0 or 7-3. All right, we're about to get the ball back. We're going to put some points back on the board. Let's roll. Fake punt. Bro, I was furious. I turned my head. I was like, all right, let me go do something. I think I was on my phone. I went to go do something, and I hear the roar in the crowd. I was like, what? Fake punt. How did y'all feel when that fake punt happened? I'm going to tell you right now. Too often, we talk about special teams, but not often in a good way. We're always talking about, always reminded of the big punt return to Tyreek Hill. All right. We just remember those things back in that division game. 12 men on the field. Just this year, we didn't have enough guys to do a punt block. 9 guys on the field. Where the F is anybody else? Right? The punt block. Now you have this fake punt. Now, kudos to Sean Payton putting that play together, because it caught everybody off guard. A routine punt that's going to take place. It's early in the game. Nobody's going to see it coming. You got to give him credit for that. But at the same time, special teams, you got to be alert. We're always told, if you play ball, wait for that thud. If you don't hear thud, yo, turn around, because something's up. That something's up. And the man played it well. He made it seem like he's going down, and Ingram kind of turned himself and is ready to get into position. And there it was. So I sit here thinking about, okay, what does McDermott say or do about this whole punt, this whole special teams unit? Because they're going to be the death of us. They're going to be the death of us. If we don't get our acts together, they're going to be the death of us. So I'm hoping that this is a reminder to be on your P's and Q's, if you will, when it comes to anything special teams, because all it takes is one slip. All it takes is one person not paying attention. Reed Ferguson thought he had it, got bowled over, pump block, right? It's one of those moments where it's just, you got to be on your P's and Q's ASAP all day, every day, because it takes one moment where you're not paying attention or you're getting your routine and you get a big play like this. So that play right there, that punt, fake punt, drove me nuts, because we gave Bo Nix and these Broncos another opportunity to go in and do what they do. So it was tough to sit here and withstand and see that, knowing, and this is the tough part, knowing full well that that's been our issue for the longest time. That's been our issue. So you're almost glad it happened this early, that they're not going to allow something like this to happen again. But boy, oh boy, it could have been disastrous, because defense stepped up and made a big stop. made a big stop. So good job, Bills. Good job to those boys, man. We love to see it. And by the way, I'm looking to see if any Broncos fans are in the chat that were chirping us on Friday, talking about Big Yummy and the Broncos. I don't see none of y'all in the chat. Where y'all at? I'm trying to look to see where y'all at. Y'all in there? Yo, stand up to the mic. Come on up. I didn't think so. Big talk, and I don't hear none of y'all right now. All right, so let me keep it moving. Let me keep it moving because I'm gonna get into what we like, what we didn't like, and we get into all this good stuff. But I wanted to just kind of jump in and touch on some of the things that that stood out to me in this game. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's go to the team stats because there's some things that I did want to talk about. First things first. One thing that I've been paying attention to a lot is how we do converting on third downs. And to begin the year, we weren't a very good team converting on third downs. And that's something that we needed to fix. We absolutely need to fix that. And it was causing us grief and it was causing us some challenges. So that being said, let me just kind of change things up here. There we go. So that being said, I'm looking at what I like, what I didn't like, and all those things. And what I loved in this game was how we converted on our third downs. Did you see how we did in this game? Yet again, over 50% on third downs. You love to see it. The Bills went 8 for 15 on thirds. And it wasn't like, they're all tush pushes. They weren't. There were some conversions that we made that were crucial, right? A big completion to Dalton Kincaid when it was pressure. That is huge. Ladies and gentlemen, today, 8 for 15 on third down conversions. Oh, and by the way, 2 for 2 on fourth down. We converted 9 of 17 today. You love to see it. Kudos to the offense. Kudos to Joe Brady. Finding where we can take full advantage of these Denver Broncos. This Denver Broncos team was a third-ranked scoring defense, allowing only 18 points a game. They were one of the best defenses in the league. Here we go, treating them like we treat everybody else, put up 30 and call it a day. You gotta love it. You love to see what Josh and this offense are capable of doing. And one thing that I don't want to say gets overlooked, because it's not something that gets overlooked, but when he's not erratic anymore. It's like that erratic bone in his body is gone. It's like he's seen these scenarios before. So I ain't gotta do a whole lot. I just gotta chill out, slow down, handle my business, and keep it rolling. And that's exactly what he was able to showcase today against his Denver Broncos. And it seems like he's taken a grasp of that since last year, because you know how it is. First game of the year, Jets, 4 picks or 4 turnovers. Yo, relax, settle down. You ain't got to do too much. So he's taken that whole offseason to hone that in and realize, yo, I don't have to do too much. Yo, just maybe we'll be just fine. I see a comment here coming in. Shout out to Nate Burleson for picking Denver Broncos. Yo, Nate tripping. See, you know what? When people do that, they don't believe in the Bills. When you see that this should be a Bills domination and you pick against the Bills, it's because you don't believe in the Bills. You still see the off-season Bills where they lost this, they lost that, or you're just trying to be different. I like Nate. Nate's one of my favorite. But you picking the Denver Broncos over the Bills? Based on what exactly? Based on what? It wasn't like we lost it. We're fully healthy unit going into the playoffs at home. How you gonna pick Denver? Very odd. Very odd. I'm a big Nate guy. I love Nate. But come on now, son. Come on, you tripping now, bro. Anyway, let me keep it pushing. Let me keep it going. So, third down efficiency offensively, you'd love to see it. So here's how this works. When you're converting on your third downs, you're converting on your fourth downs, guess what else it affects? That's right, your time of possession. Did you guys see the time of possession today? The Bills held on to the football 41 minutes. 41 minutes, almost 42 minutes of time of possession. So what does that tell you? It's telling me that I figured you out. It's telling me that I can run the ball, I can pass the ball. And when I'm passing the ball, I'm passing at such an efficient rate that if I'm hit in about a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, the chances of me not getting that are very slim. You now have me at an advantage. And when you have a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback back there, bruh, you'll round up the cavalry, bring in Alec Anderson, and let's run that thing down their throat. And that's exactly what took place today. 41 minutes of time of possession. 41, almost 43, almost 42 minutes. 41 minutes and 43 seconds. You love to see what was displayed today. So here's where I'm going to keep going on these 3rd downs. Because if you're doing everything well on 3rd downs and you got 41 minutes of time of possession on one side, what the heck are these guys doing on the other side? The Denver Broncos today possessed the football for 18 minutes. Let me tell you something. The only way you're going to win a game possessing the ball for 18 minutes is if every play you hit, you're scoring a touchdown, because it's not taking you very long to dismantle of the team that you're playing against. So when you are not able to sustain drives, because I think their longest sustained drive, I got to take a look here. It wasn't very long. I got to go back and have a look. I just got to see it for myself. Their longest sustained drive for the Denver Broncos. Let me see it. I gotta take a look. Too much right now. I'm scrolling through. Let's see. Their first touchdown. How many did they do? They 3 plays, a minute 45. Look at their possessions. All right. Every possession from the Denver Broncos. Check this out. So 3 plays, 5 yards, a minute 35. All right. All right. Let me scroll up, because I'm very curious as to how this all took place. So with their first touchdown, 5 plays, 70 yards, right? 2 minutes, 24 seconds. Here come the Bills. When they score their field goal, 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Here come the Broncos. 3 plays, a minute 35. Not going to cut it. Here come the Bills. 13 plays, 81 yards, 7 minutes off the clock. 7 minutes off the clock. That's when you know, all right, everybody slow the F down. All right, let's run the football. Let's do what we do, and let's march these boys, right? There goes 7 minutes off the clock just like that. I know that's pissing off Sean Payton. Sean Payton's like, golly, like, what's going on? Let's keep moving. Here come the Broncos. Their longest, I think, was 9 plays for 31 yards. It didn't amount to anything because they ended up punting the football. All right. Here come the Bills. 11 plays, 6 minutes. Here come the Broncos with that missed field goal right at the end of the half that hit just an inch to tie the game up. They couldn't do it. A minute 52. 4 minutes and 57 seconds for the Bills. Here come the Broncos, a minute. The Broncos, another 2 minutes. The Broncos, another possession, 3 minutes. Their longest time of possession was a 4-minute drive. Good teams find ways to hold on to the football, have some control, and efficiently put points on the board. Because if you're going to hold on to the football like that, you best put points on the board. So 18 minutes, that ain't going to cut it. Unless you just, every play, you're hitting up a touchdown. But that's not the case. So it was lovely to see what this defense was able to do. It was lovely to see what the Bills' opportunistic moments came through. And you got to love it. So another thing that stand out to me, right? We talk about the offense having 8 for 15 on possessions. Defensively. Bro, defense held the Broncos 2 for 9 on 3rd downs. 2 for 9 on 3rd downs. Not only that, they went for it on 4th down 3 times. They converted once. Bro, could Sean McDermott and Bobby Babbage, could they have figured out what it takes to be a Super Bowl winning team? Now, it sounds like a wild question because it's way early. We're going up against a 10-7 team. And we can say that now, but I'll tell you that 4 hours ago, we're like, yo, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. But for the most part, the changes that were made, personnel changes that were made, the adjustments that were made in this game were able to have us in position to do what we did to the Broncos today. Having the rookie look like a rookie. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. So here's what I want to talk about. I want to see here what I loved. Okay. Here's what I loved. Josh Allen's poise. Not getting too erratic, knowing that it's the playoffs. He was poised, ready to go. Secondly, James Cook. You love to see what James Cook was able to do today and really be one of the best backs in the game. One of the best backs in the game. And him being what, his third year now? Him being in his third year, it's really starting to come together. What James Cook looks like now, he did not look like that his rookie year, which is absolutely normal for for it to be that way because he's a rookie. He looks much better now in his third than he did his second year. And I'm not saying it has anything to do with Ray Davis, but the way Ray Davis has been running the football in the offseason, preseason, in games has given, it seems as though it's giving James Cook an ability to, let me run harder. Let me do this. Because he's 23 carries. That's your bell cow back. Gone are the days where you see that. It's always like a 2 tandem back, but 23 carries, that's letting you know he is that dude. So big shout out to what I liked with Josh Allen's poise, James Cook's ability to take over a game, because that's what it took. That's what it came down to. We were able to trust what James Cook's abilities can do and move the sticks. Here's another thing I loved. Joe Brady not staying and shying away from running the football. Often we've had coordinators, because we get into the playoffs, they switch up. They switch up by sitting here not wanting to, conform to just running the football. No, we're going to change it up because they expect us to do this. Nah, bro. If you're not going to sit here and defend me the way you think you defend me, I'm going to run the ball. I'm not going to stop. And that's exactly what it took place right now in this game. James Cook was like, yo, y'all don't want to tackle me? All right, bet. Let's do this. And that goes to show you with his 5 yards per carry. Let's roll, baby. Here we go. Something else I liked. Everybody's saying I never liked James Cook. Nah, that's not true. Everybody thinks I never liked Cook because I'm hard on the running back position. I love the running back position. I think the running back position is an art. I think it's a position that is undervalued, and I think it's a bigger piece of this team. And I knew James Cook could be so much better than he was, but I wasn't seeing it. I'm now seeing it. So if I see it, I'm gonna say it. That's just what it is, man. I thought it was pretty simple. But here we go. We got a comment coming in from where the Broncos fans are. Y'all was asking the same thing, bro. I was asking because they were all in our mentions last stream. Well, Bo Nick stat, we gonna do this, Pat Surtain that. Nah, bro. Where were you at? I didn't see a damn thing. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. My man said, Artemo says, yo, take care, eloquent Rico, maintain, continue being rich in Spanish. Rico means rich. Oh, shoot. All right. I'm going to continue to be rich as I can, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, let's move on to the defense a little bit, because I like what I saw from defense. But more specifically, how solid has, and I've seen this before, where a defensive player is trying to get money. A defensive player is trying to get money, so they show out. Something tells me that Greg Rousseau is he's just getting better and better. And I've said it before. I don't know which game it was. Was it I can't remember which it was. I think it was the San Fran game. I said, yo, I've seen enough. Pay that man his money. Greg Rousseau is so good. I tell you, man, he ain't going to get you 15 sacks a year. You know what I mean? 17, 18 sacks. Would I love it? Of course I would. But what he does for this defense is so good. The length and the strength that he brings to this defense is unreal. His arms are so, you can't lock in on him. He'll stab you and find out what's going on with the play, and he moves. And what's beautiful about Greg Rousseau is that he can play on the edge, he can play on the left side, he can play on the right side, and he can play in the middle. Love what Greg Rousseau's been doing, because we're going to need a lot of Greg Rousseau next game up against these Ravens. It's going to be all about discipline with these Ravens teams, because we know what they're going to be bringing. We absolutely know. But I love what Greg Rousseau has been able to do for this defensive front. AJ Epinesa right behind him. They've stepped up their game. You can't deny it. The defense has stepped their game up. But I think it's because, I mean, we see it. The last 3 years, Josh Allen comes in and does what he's supposed to do, as a franchise quarterback should. And then he looks to say, all right, defense, can y'all got it? Y'all can hook me up. And they've let him down every freaking single time. I mean, for crying out loud, you saw when we went up against Skylar Thompson and the Miami Dolphins, bro, the game was a 34-31 win. What? In what world? So when you have a game like this, you love to see that this defense has taken this challenge seriously. They've taken this challenge seriously. And now we move on to a big test next week versus these Ravens. That's a big test. Let's keep it funky right now, right? Those Ravens look good. And if we don't watch out, the same results can happen. What happened in week 3 or week 4 of this year, where it's just we can't recalibrate and get back on our feet because we're allowing the Ravens to be a one-dimensional team and run the football, and we can't stop it. So it was good to see today that the defense can mind their gaps, can have gap integrity, and tackle. That was the biggest thing. You go back and look at what Jameson Williams. You go back and look at what Javonte Williams was able to do. It was absolutely nothing. Absolutely freaking nothing. So look to see how things play out. Now, 79 yards rushing, give it up to the defense, man. Love to see it. So that's what I love. So Josh Allen's poise, James Cook's involvement in the offense, and how he's going to become a star in this game. If we keep it up, he can become a star in this game, and he's looking fantastic doing it, right? Let's keep pushing. Josh Allen, right? Not only his poise, but his ability to just make the plays that we need, man. If you look at that 4th and 1 where he's looking, he can't find a soul, and he makes a play like that, that is anticipation. That's trust with your guy. And I'll tell you right now, there's only a handful of guys that can do that in the league. A handful. And when I say handful, maybe 2. Josh, Pat Mahomes, maybe Lamar Jackson. Because I've seen Lamar do it. Stiff arm, moving on, wait. Give credit to where it's good. But those 3 guys, not many guys can do what these 3 guys can do. So that's why it's great to see Josh just settle down, chill out, and make the plays necessary. You'll love to see it. So that's what I loved seeing. And lastly, what I love seeing is seeing the defense show out and the adjustments that were made from Bobby Babich and McDermott to come in and handle business. Handle your business, know what you're supposed to do, and try to get this rookie to go. So, and guess what? Sean McDermott becomes now a coach that's beaten rookies 3 times straight. In the playoffs, he is 2-0 against rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs. He now becomes 3-0. And over time, I think it was 9-4 in the regular season. Let's keep it up. He's got a good track record against these rookies. Now, we got a big test next week. So let me move on. So that is what I liked. And if there's some things that you liked, you guys let me know. Hashtag what you loved. Say loved. Hashtag loved. And tell me what you loved, and then I'll try to get that to it. What you hated? Here's what I hated. I'll tell you right now. I'll be real. That fake punt. I didn't like it. I know it. I know sometimes ish happens where you're like, yo, man, it just happened to be that way. But it's not the first time that we've had blunders on special teams. It's not the first time. It's not the first time we've had blunders on special teams. So there comes a time where, fam, Coach Smiley, I don't know if you're not stern enough. I don't know that you don't make it clear to these guys. But fam, there's got to be either these guys, you have dummies and that don't comprehend how important this thing is, or it's you. You're the issue. So we gotta figure that part out, man, because you cannot be a reason that this team loses because your unit doesn't get their act together. If defense is doing their job, make big stops on defense, offense is putting points on the board, and your unit is what's going to cost us a game, bro, we have a problem. We have an absolute problem. It started last year. I'm surprised they brought your ass back. And the fact that it did bring your ass back, you think you'd fix the errors that has had you under the microscope. Now here we are. Fake punt. We get it. It does happen. Sean Payton is known to do it. That's what got him a Super Bowl win. You got to give it to him. But fam, we got to be better. Now, before I get into what I hated some more, I want to kind of read some of your comments, and we'll get into that part of the show, and let's keep it moving. So I got some hashtags coming in, and super chats will be read a little later. I promise you that. I ain't trying to have anybody be upset with me. You feel what I'm saying? Hank Lucas says, you know what I love? I love the defense. Day Trooper says, I love the resiliency. I like that. The resiliency to know what's at stake, what's at hand, and to bounce back. To go down 7-0 can psychologically do something to you. But if you know what's important, my mic keeps messing up. You know we've been here before. Nothing to chill out about. Just relax, do what you need to do, and show that you can bounce back and handle business. You love it. My man Dan says, you know what I loved? I love the adjustments. I love the offensive adjustments, and I love what we've done. So if you look at offensively, when they started to kind of bake in a little bit and take away what I guess James Cook was able to do, and it wasn't very often. There was a run pass option, an RPO, boom, where Josh fakes it. I honestly thought that the running back had it. Here goes Josh on the sideline for a first down. Like, those are the things that you love to freaking see. So great adjustments. You love to see that, and I want to keep it up. My man Josh Richardson, what up, JR? He goes, what I loved Josh Allen's poise throughout the game. Yes, bro, Josh. I guess I don't know, man. I think ever since that Kansas City game where we thought we were up, we had, 13 seconds left on the clock. And I mean this when I say this, right? I think that game has totally changed Josh's demeanor when it comes to these football games. Ever since that game where he goes, when he was freaking out, which we were all freaking out because we thought we had the game, right? Ever since then, bro, win by 30, win by 1. This brother's on the sideline, just focused, just ready to go. Oh shoot, the game's over. All right, bet we got it. Let's go celebrate. Go Bills. Let's go. He's been just even keel. He doesn't give you any reason to hype up. No, he ain't gonna do it because I've learned my lesson. I'm not getting emotionally checked out because I made a big play. It's like Kobe. Oh, we got the job done? Oh, job's not done, right? So what are we celebrating? Okay, did I see 0 on the clock? No, I didn't. So Josh has been just on top of it, and I love this version of Josh. This version of Josh, I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. Let me just kind of change that styling because I'm reading a lot of your comments, and I have the what did you hate when we're still talking about what we loved. So let's keep it moving. All right. So we got one from Bills fan 7883. What up, bro? He goes, here's what I loved. I love their special teams. Other than the pump block, they were part of the reason we were so dominant. Hated the fake punt. Pay attention, Ingram. Listen, you got to give it to Ingram. Ingram's just trying to get back so he can make a play for his returner. But you got to hear that thud. If you've ever played football, you got to hear the thud. You don't hear the thud, something's up. So then you can make your moves. You hear that pop from the foot, from the ball, that's when you can do it. So I was paying attention to Ingram after that, and whoever, you should have saw what it was. They were about 5 to 7 yards back, right? And now he's sitting here having to swivel his hips, right? So now you got to swivel your hips. You got to wait till he gets to you. Don't cheat and get out there early. Stay. Okay, now he punted it. Now you bust your butt. So that was a lazy moment for Jamarcus Ingram. And he learned his lesson because he was on top of it. He was paying attention and he was alert. But that's a reminder that you should be alert at all times on special teams because all it takes is one split decision that you make in the wrong time. It's over with. It's over with. By the way, Cass comes in. She says, I love Mac's foul because it was so worth it. Let me write that down. Mac Hollins. I got to write Mac Hollins down because to me, I thought that was hilarious because he did something that was so funny to me, but I'm going to write that down. I'm going to come back to that, Cass. I come back to that. All right. Mr. West Ashley, what's up, bro? He goes, also, what I loved, crowd noise caused 2 lost timeouts. Oh, good point. That's the beauty of having the home field advantage because the Bills crowd can be extremely loud. And that's why I wanted them to get the ball first because it just would have, got them out of whack. But what I love seeing was the fact that I can't communicate. I got to call timeout. And now coach probably like, damn, I didn't want to burn it, but I guess that's the beauty of having the crowd in the game. So you love to see it. Love to see it. Brandon Wright says, I love James Cook's 23 carries. Heck yeah. 23 carries ain't nothing. Remember, there was a time under Dable and also under what do you call it? What was I'm having a brain fart. Who was our last that just got fired from I am having a brain fart. I can't remember, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Glasses, for crying out loud. I'm not getting it. It'll come to me. So those two guys, there were times where James Cook would have 11 carries, 12 carries. You're like, well, why are you giving him 12 carries, 11 carries? These running backs need to get touches so they get into the game and feel the game. So that way they can be an asset to you in this game where, okay, I understand what this defense is trying to do to me. Now I'm going to do this. But 11 carries, 10 carries, 7 carries, that is not going to cut it. When you have an offensive coordinator that trusts the running back to give him the ball 23 times, knowing that he's not going to fumble, knowing he's going to make some plays for us, you love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Ken Dorsey, for crying out loud. Why am I just like running out of that? He's been so out of my mind that he's forgotten. He's forgotten that much. Let me get into more of what you guys loved, and then I'll jump into what I hated. So start hashtagging what you hated, and we'll get into that. Tony Clifton says he loves our new receivers on the team. They're coming along, man. They're absolutely coming along. Brandon Wright loved Hollins, the glue guy. Has he become the glue guy? We'll talk about that. Let me write that down. Mac Hollins, glue guy, because there's some guys that do things, certain guys that do things on certain rosters in order for them to stick around, right? They pose no value, but because they're a glue guy, they're able to be retained on the offense. I'm not saying that he poses no value because he does, but it was just interesting. But let me get my man Walter comes in. Walter comes in and says, I love the ref apologizing to Allen on that sideline for missing a holding call. That was the wildest thing I've ever seen a ref do. I didn't even know a ref could go over to the bench area like that. You know what's funny? Him going over there to apologize, because I'm assuming that was the head ref. I'd have to go back. I didn't see the color of his hat, but I'm assuming that was the head ref. I bet you he went back there and maybe he got two things being said. Maybe the guy that missed the call came back to the head ref and said, yo, I missed that call, bro. I missed that call. Could you let Josh know that I missed that call? Maybe that's what happened, right? So head ref goes, hey, man, I want to let you know that call we should have called. It's too late. It didn't happen, but Tony over there just wanted me to let you know that he missed the call. My bad, man. My bad. Like, if we saw it, we would have called it. So Josh is like, yeah, don't worry. We up 21 now. I'm not worried about it. But next time, don't make that happen. But here's the thing. There's the back judge that's right there. I believe that's your job. Your job, your responsibility is to see what's taking place. Did he catch the football? Is he in bounds? Is there a holding? Is this guy impeding the receiver from getting open? Bruh, that's your gig. Now, that's the first reason he apologizes. Or up top came down and said, hey, by the way, we missed that call. That should have been a hold. So go ahead to go tell Josh you apologize. I don't know. Those are the two reasons. Either the ref came and said, I admit it, I was wrong. The back judge told the head ref went to go tell Josh, or somebody from up top said, yo, man, we effed up. Go ahead and give him some love. Who knows how that plays out? But anyway, we'll keep it moving. I found that very odd. The ref is sitting there and the camera's all up in there. Get in there. And he goes, yo, my bad, man. My bad. That's crazy. That's wild. And now you're going to get, now you're going to try, they're going to try to have a narrative of Josh has got the refs in his pocket. Boy, you better stop. That's all Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes got these refs. Josh, he want nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. King Cam, member for 12 months. We appreciate you, G. We appreciate you. He goes, oh, let's go Buffalo off topic. Go Buckeyes. I saw y'all in here hating on the other. Yo, man, I ain't a college guy. I know my man my man Z-Bot is not. He's not a Buckeyes fan. He's like, yo, I'm sick of those cats. But you know what? He's got to give them the credit. He's got to give them the credit. All right, let's keep it pushing to what we hated. Was there something that stood out to you in this game where you're sitting here going, yo, I didn't like that. I hated this. What's going on? Talk to me. Let me know what you hated. Let me tell you something that I was not a big fan of in this game. And one of them I told you guys was obviously special teams blunder. Didn't like that. But, yo, we took some really unnecessary penalties. Did you guys not realize that? And these penalties were taking us out of real contention to really put this team away. Holding calls. Like unnecessary holding calls, right? False start. James Cook early on when he jumped on the false start. Like those things kill us. Like we're in a position where we have the ability to really put a team away and not make our mistakes. And here we are shooting ourselves in the foot, not really taking on and taking position. So we've got to be better in that regards, right? And I was looking at it because we had such an advantage. I think it was last game or the game before on first downs caused by penalties. And this game, first downs off penalties, the Bills had one. And I'm looking at the Broncos. The Broncos also had one, right? But we killed ourselves. There was moments we were like second and 21, third and 21. Dude, we can't have games like that. We can't, because you're going up against a good team in the Ravens, and we're trying to march the football. We're trying to, sustain drives and get first downs, and we're sitting here doing bozo things. Illegal formation, false start, holding call. Bro, we got to be better. We have to be better. We can't give these games up by having these silly things that we can fix. You can't have that. We absolutely cannot have that. By the way, Jim Edwards says he hated the NFL Game Day pregame show. The Pix Knicks image just as large. What, Pixie Knicks image just as large as Josh's? Oh, listen, man. You know what their job is. The media's job is to throw in a little bit of mystique, throw in a little maybe Bo Nix can do it. So they had to get that image out there to show you, yo, don't sleep on Bo Nix, and he shouldn't be slept on. I think he's going to be a good player going forward, but I'm certainly not tripping on him. All right, so penalties. Hated the fact that we were not disciplined enough to really handle ourselves, because putting ourselves, like, can you imagine if we're down 4, we're on the 35-yard line, it's second and 6, right? And now we put ourselves 3rd and 6, and we put ourselves in a holding call or a false start, whatever. And now it's already hard enough to freaking move the ball up and down the field, but now you're hurt yourself by not being disciplined enough. Yo, can't have that. Now, I will say this, though. That one false start by James Cook, I'll say it wasn't his fault. And I'll tell you why. Because it looked like the play was already in disarray. Because Josh was like, all right, no, stay here. Okay, you come over here. Nope, stop. And he told James Cook to stop. Okay, stop. Come over here. Okay, no, you go. And then James is like, and he jumped. So, like, it just seemed like that play was just not, I think it was like Josh was about to freestyle something. So, and when he was about to freestyle it, backup singer James Cook didn't know the lyrics. So he's like, so he kind of jumped a little bit, to give you an idea of what took place there. So that being said, that's the one thing that stood out to me that I didn't like, was we're kind of killing ourselves with these silly penalties. We got to be better. We absolutely got to be better. Here's another thing. Let me read some of y'all. Yaya, what's up? Yaya says, I hated Rap had 2 weeks of missed coverage that resulted in TDs. I don't know if that was on Rap. I feel that was on Taylor. I think that was on Rasul Douglas. I think I got to go back and look at it based on what I saw, because that was just a cover 3. That's your cover 3. So, or quarters. That was a quarters or cover 3. Either way, get as deep as your deepest man. Rasul Douglas, like, you saw what was happening because he was inside of you. So this is where you got to jump in and get over top. Now, I could be wrong. I got to go back and look at the film, but that's what it looked like to me. So I think it was more so they didn't expect the speed from Troy Franklin, which Troy Franklin, I think, runs a 4.3. Troy Franklin just blew by him. He blew right past him. It was easy. Just a single skinny post down the seam, easy for Bo Nix to hit. But shoot, we took away that going forward. It never happened again. So it was good to see they made their adjustments, but I didn't like that part. I really didn't like it. Brandon Wright says he absolutely hated hearing Mike Vrabel going to the Patsies before our game. Listen, Mike Vrabel was a damn good coach. And it's a shame that they knew they wanted Mike Vrabel from last year. They knew they did. But the word came out that they already promised, Coach Jared Mayo the job to be the successor of Bill Belichick. But if he knew that, you're just giving me one and done, was there a deal that you're just going to give me this position so I can have my name amongst, head coaching opportunities for the year after because you're going to oust me? I didn't like it. I didn't like it whatsoever. I think it was a dirty game. If you knew you wanted Vrabel the whole time, bro, you should never promise that you're going to give Buddy the job if you're just going to out his ass in 1 year with a terrible team, with a rookie quarterback, and then you're out. Nah, man, ain't nobody buying that BS. I don't like it. So I hate that too. But I like Vrabel. I think that was the best fit for him to go somewhere. The Jets, ain't nobody going to that tire fire. Ain't no way. You'd rather go somewhere where you know someone, the owner knows you, and you go from there. Abby, what's up, Abby? Abby says, I hated the penalty on Matt Collins. Should have never considered a penalty to be. I hated that he did that. I would have called the same penalty too. I hated that he did that. I don't think it was necessary. You made a good play. It was on, I think, Pat Surtain, so you get it. You made it against one of the best corners in the game, so you had to stunt on him. You push his helmet down, and then you give him the Teron Lou. Nah, bro, you're not gonna Teron Lou me and then shove my face down. No, that's ultimate disrespect. And then on top of that, I might as well get into it. I kind of didn't like it too. You know what? I'm gonna get into that. Mac Hollins, bro. I love what Mac Hollins was able to do on special teams. You gotta love that. So I'll give him a shout out on that. But bro, you're already up. You gave your team an opportunity to go on the 1 yard line. We could have put another touchdown in there. And you decided to not only make the catch, you're pumped up, you shove Buddy's face down, have some respect, and then you hop over him. And if you don't know who Teron Lou is a former NBA player, now he's a coach, and Allen Iverson hit a jumper right over him, and he fell over. And as he was walking back on the defensive side of the court, he hopped over him. Like it's disrespect to like hop over you, nuts in your face, all that stuff. Now you ain't gonna do that to me. Yo, move, man. I don't want to see your nuts in my face. That's exactly what it is. Pause, by the way. And that's exactly what happened. So Mike Hollins, not necessary, because now you cost your team 15 yards, and now you got this team on the outside on the 20-yard line when you could have been on the first. So like for me, if I'm a coach, I'm like, dude, what's going on with that? What's going on with that? And furthermore, I got some on my lip here. Furthermore, he's like, who is this guy? He points back to say, yo, who is this guy? Like, who's this guy trying to cover me? Relax, Mac Hollins. You've had a solid season. You ain't got to do all that. Don't forget, you're a depth receiver. You're not that guy. So you ain't got to go sit here and step over that dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like you that guy. It was too much. So I didn't like that. I would have threw my flag if I was a ref as well. I wasn't a big fan of that. I don't like that type of behavior from our team, especially because we're up. You don't do that. Have integrity, have some respect for the game, and then go from there. Now, here's another thing I hated. I'm gonna be real. I'll say this. I'll hate this, and I'll try to come back to some of your super chats and comments. But I didn't like that there were some moments in this game where our receivers weren't getting open. They weren't getting separation. I don't like that. And I say this for good reason, because I get it. We're facing a very stingy defense in the Broncos. I get that part. But Josh has taken 14 sacks all year. 14 sacks all year. Barely sacked. The least sacked quarterback. But yet, he took 2 sacks today. And those 2 sacks he took were coverage sacks, meaning none of y'all are getting your separation. So you got to help your quarterback in that regard. I know we won 31-7. I get that. But when the game is tight and I need a play from one of y'all, yo, you got to make a play. And this is nitpicking because he took 2 sacks, but we also put up 31 points on these boys. But that's one thing that did stand out to me, where Josh, multiple times he's sitting there, look for something, and he'd stop and create more space, come back and look for someone, and then have to take off. He took off 3 times. He had 46 yards rushing today. And I can guarantee you, I think one of those runs, maybe 2 of his running attempts, were designed. Let me just make sure I got how many carries he got. Yeah, Josh had 8 carries today. Maybe 2 of them were design runs. So that's 6 plays where he was like, So 6 opportunities where my receivers weren't getting open. Keep that in mind. I just wanted to jump in there and give you that. So that was one thing that I wasn't a big fan of, and something that I'm hoping that these boys can clean up and give your guys you got to get open for your quarterback, man. You got to get open. I know that our speed guys are Jalen Virgil, which is on the sideline, so that's a moot point. Amari Cooper, I'm still not sure. Did you lose a 2 to 3 steps? Because he seems to be just a whatever. You know what I mean? So you love to see it. Now, let me get onto the next point of our show here. So we talked about what we hated, we talked about what we loved. And I want to talk about, some spotlight heroes, some guys that I really liked and what they were able to do today. And I've been calling for these players to step up and do something for us. And I think we're starting to see something pop off here. And that goes with Dalton Kincaid. I love what I saw from Dalton Kincaid today. Both are tight ends, because Dalton Kincaid had a decent game himself, and Dawson Knox had 2 receptions himself. But Dalton Kincaid, that catch down the sideline, if we can figure out, it drives me bonkers, but if we can figure out a way to get that brother so involved in this game that he's one guy that they've got to pay attention to where Dalton Kincaid is, how dangerous could this team be? This team could be absolutely dangerous. But I feel that we're at this point where it's like, sometimes he's potent, sometimes he's not, but I saw it. The potential is so there. So I'd love to see a lot more contribution from Dalton Kincaid, but I also have to be mindful as a fan and someone that covers his team that, fam, it's whoever can get it. Sometimes it might be you. Sometimes it might be you. Sometimes it might be Mac Hollins. I mean, for crying out loud, he led the team in receptions, in touchdown receptions. So it's one of those situations where it's like, I want so much more for Dalton Kincaid and a beautiful catch down the sideline. But it's just, we got to figure something out. We got to figure something out. My man, Walter, I was trying to avoid your comment, Walter. I was trying to avoid it. But you got me. Yo, he didn't catch that. So let's not give him too much praise. We're lucky that he wasn't challenged. If that was Keon, we'd be criticizing him. Bro, trust me. I was so happy that we were able to run the play really quickly. But at this point, I think Denver gave up. At this point, I think Denver knew it was a wrap. So we're not even going to have time to do it, because if you're on top of it, you should absolutely challenge that and say, yo, what's going on? But that's not the point. The point is the potential in Dalton Kincaid, the fact that he can get open like that on the sideline, the fact that he can go over and do what he's supposed to do. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. So big shout out to Dalton Kincaid. And I'm hoping that we see a lot more from Dalton Kincaid going forward, because I think that he is too good of an asset, too big of an important piece on this team for us to sit here and have him with 3 targets, right? 3 targets today. I think he's worth it to have at least 7 to 8 targets in the game, because he's that big a piece on this team. But who am I? I'm neither here nor there with it. I'm just glad that we got the win, and it pleases me that we were able to cover what we're able to do. So that's the one thing that stood out to me. Loved it. Love to see it, and we'll keep it rolling. So overall on what I liked and what stood out to me in this game, right? It's the fact that we were able to put our actual, what's the best way I can put it? The things that usually hinder us in games, it didn't bite us in the butt this game, right? So the fact that we were able to, would have loved more pressure on the quarterback? I absolutely would have. But I think the game plan was to have Bo Nix throw the football and keep everything in front of us. And I think we did a good job, because if you look at what Bo Nix was able to do today, 144 yards passing. He completed 13 passes. So for the most part, our defense did what we needed to do. And the key was to not allow them to get going on offense, and we kept the football. So it's like we dictated what took place. And that's the biggest thing that I like with this. We're normally the ones that kind of like adjusting to what the other team does and so on and so forth sometimes, right? If we're not lighting these guys up. But in a playoff game like today, we brought the belt out and we put it to ass. And that's what it looked like. It didn't start off that way, but we finally found a way that we dominated. Time of possession showed you that. The amount of time it took us to convert showed you that. James Cook running for over 120 yards told you that. The team running for 200 plus yards told you that. We dictated what we wanted to do this game. And I hope that we take that mentality. I hope that we take that mindset when we face Baltimore at home. At home. So be ready, because it's going to be a fun one. Now, I will say this, though. It does worry me a little bit, because such a game like the game that's coming up against the Ravens, you want all your guys ready. You want all your guys ready. I'm going to say this. Ray Davis having a concussion doesn't please me. I'm a little peeved by that, because he brings such a different element to the game. And don't get me wrong, I love Ty Johnson. I love James Cook. But all three of those running backs bring something to this team. So when you're going up against a physical team like the Ravens, sometimes you got to bring out a guy like Ray Davis. So him getting concussed is a big one for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he gets cleared. I don't know. We could be without him next week. You don't want to hear that, but that also could be what ends up taking place. So it'll be a tough one, but I'm hoping that we can kind of get that out of the way. And if he's cleared to play, we need everybody hands on deck. We absolutely need everybody hands on deck going into this game, because this one is a big one. And let's get right into it. I mean, I'm going to have a lot more to talk about it this week, but if we're really going to keep it a buck, this is a big game coming up, because now it's like, you know what it's going to be. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Who's the true MVP? This is going to show you this game going all out, because I personally think and I'm going to keep it all the way real, Richard. Who wins this game, I think wins the Super Bowl. And this is no disrespect to the Chiefs. I really don't. Because let's keep it all the way real. If not for Isaiah Likely's toe being out of bounds by this much, the Ravens probably win that game. The Bills, I wouldn't say seem to have their number, but the Bills match up very well against the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, playoffs is a whole different ballgame. So I might be jumping the gun just a little bit, but I feel like the three best teams in the AFC obviously are the two teams that are going to be facing each other next week, and obviously the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see how that all plays out. I mean, listen, I might be talking way too soon. Let stuff play out. I might be tripping. Sarah Christine said, "Yo, Ricky, you tripping?" I don't know, bro. Listen, if we go to next week, let's keep it real. Let's just say we take the Ravens, we beat the Ravens, we go to the Chiefs. Do you like our chances against the Chiefs? I do. If we talk about the Ravens, let's just say the Ravens do exactly what they did to us last week, and they do it again. I like their chances against the Chiefs, but I might be talking too soon. So let me retract. I'm getting excited. I think that's what it is. I'm excited that we got the win today. I might be jumping the gun. So let me back it up. Let me retract. Because sometimes I can get a little ahead of myself. So sometimes I need friends like you guys to keep me in check. Sometimes you got to keep a brother in check, because I get a little ahead of myself. I can do that sometimes, right? So my man said, Buffalo Butter says, yo, I'd rather play the Chiefs than the Ravens. Well, either way, we got to play either one of them. We're going to play both, because I'm confident that we can do. I'm confident that we can do both. So we go into that knowing what we play next week. But I'm going to catch some super chats right now. I want to be able to see what y'all are talking about, and then we'll keep it pushing. So I got a super chat coming in from my man Dan Echo. What up, Danny boy? Yo, great defense and brilliant time of possession. Bad red zone penalties, but only punted once against a stingy defense. Truth, Ravens scare me more than KC. What about you? Shoot, it's like you read my mind, bro. Yo, if I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with y'all, I didn't like how we looked against the Ravens. Obviously, none of us liked it, but like we didn't respond. I feel like we did not respond in any way, shape, or form the last time we played the Ravens. We just got beat, we took it, and we took our ball and went home afterwards. And we didn't retaliate. It's like we got bullied on our own block. That's what it felt like. Or we went to pick a fight with somebody and they whooped us and sent us back, and we had no answer for it. That's what it felt like. So I'm looking forward to the retaliation. And that's what it comes down to it. Now, when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, I feel that we match up very well with Kansas City. But before we get to Kansas City, we got to face these Ravens. Because right now, the last memory I have of these Ravens is them putting the belt to ass on us. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So do I feel confident with this team? Yes. But the Ravens aren't going to be a team that's just going to lay down, because there's going to be a lot that comes down to it. Who's the better quarterback? You know what I mean? That won the MVP, that should be the MVP. Is it Josh Allen? Well, this game's going to indicate exactly what it is, because the last time I checked, Josh Allen didn't play well against his team, and It's all going to go down. So Josh is going to have a chip on his shoulder because of that. That's number one. Can the Bills stop Derrick Henry? That's going to be a big one. We've had challenges stopping Derrick Henry. We've had issues stopping Derrick Henry. Let me just see what Derrick Henry has done to the Bills over his career. I'm curious. Let me see. Derrick Henry versus the Bills stats. All right. So Derrick Henry versus the Bills. Let me see what Derrick Henry's able to do. So his games will go like this: 56 yards, 78 yards, 57 yards, 143. Obviously, that was the game against Tennessee. 25 yards, and then 199. So for the most part, we've kept him in check 1, 2, 3 times out of the 7 times that we faced him. He has 78 yards on one game with a touchdown. Then he had 3 touchdowns in a 143-yard rushing game. Then he had the 199-yard rushing games against us when he had 8.3 yards a pop. So, yeah, he's going to be a problem. He's absolutely going to be a problem. So we're going to have to stop him. Now, have we had success against Derrick Henry? Yes. Do we need to keep Derrick Henry under 70 yards rushing in order for us to have an opportunity to win this game? Yes. You get him over 85 yards rushing, 90 yards rushing, it doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for us. And I just want to see what the score was when we did face Derrick Henry, when he had 143 yards. If we won or lost that game, I can't tell if we did or not. It really doesn't matter. Point is, we have an opportunity. We have a big opportunity, and we need to take full advantage of it. So big test coming up ahead. And they better be ready for us too, because this is the number 2 scoring freaking offense in the game. So they better be ready for us as well. We got some guns too. We got some guns too. Let me go to Frank Martorana. Martorana. My bad, bro. He goes, no doubt we got the next game. Get ahead early and take the ball out of Henry's hands, bro. That's what it's got to do. We got to start early. If we can get early start on these boys, an early start, now it forces, you got to get Lamar to just, the pressure's on him. It's the psychological pressure that's got to get on his ass, man. You put the psychological pressure now, Todd Monken can't rely on the run because we got to catch up. And then we got to force Lamar Jackson into some issues. You know what I mean? So right now, he's got another playoff win under his belt. He's got 3 playoffs wins. The Bills have 5. Josh Allen have 5. So, listen, these boys are going to go back and forth for their careers. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. Here we go. Frank comes back with another one. He goes, PS2 looked like, Pastor Tane. Pastor Tane looked like Levi Wallace out there today. To be fair, we didn't really throw at Pastor Tane. We didn't really throw to him, man. We were just picking on number 6 as the PJ Locke. We were picking on PJ Locke, and we were picking on their safety, middle of the field. Riley Moss, he got away with it a couple things today, but he had a decent little game. But for the most part, that was a good defense. Yo, that Zach Allen guy, he's legit. He's the real deal. He had 4 solo tackles today. He had that 1 sack where he just beat David Edwards on the inside. Can't hate. That was a great play. Great play. But we got to get separation. Receivers not get separations. There's a coverage sack right now. But I think that was more of an individual play from Zach Allen over that being a coverage sack. I know the second one was a coverage sack, but that one, Zach Allen really had it, man. Good job on that, man. You can't even hate on that. That boy, nice. They got something in that guy. Super Lancer, what up, Soup? Super Lancer comes in with a super chat. Appreciate that super chat, my G. You know that dude. He goes, Rico, clap them cheeks, boy. Them cheeks were clapped today. Yes, they absolutely were. We clapped them real good. Josh Allen, 17, and James Cook were busy in the bedroom going to work. Props to the offense and the defense. You know what? I like that. But jokes aside, man, that combo of Josh and James, bro, watch out. Watch out. And you know what I mean? He didn't really get going. Wait till he gets going against these Ravens. I think we're going to be all right, man. I think we're going to be just fine. My man Cass comes in, or my lady Cass, I'm not sure. Hey, Rico, please don't read the super chat. I have bills to pay, and I'm going to start a career as a YouTube drop. Yo, don't do that. Yo, you're a fool. I appreciate the super chat. But yeah, we made up, man. Me and old boy made up. We good now. We straight. I mean, there wasn't really anything to make up about, but we good. We straight now. Yeah, you're a fool. Yo, Rico, keep doing you, man. Love your takes. Ignore our new press trying to take you over, man. The president. Yo, listen, my, I suppose the Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, for now, went over the reason on CNN, talk about. I mean, he was telling the truth. He's like, yo, we ain't trying to be no Americans, although we love y'all. We're Canadian, man. We like to be. I mean, you can't be just all of a sudden you're gonna be the 51st governor. Boy, please, man. Your Prezi, he certainly can talk. He's a businessman, so that's what they do. They talk. So who knows how that's all going to play out, man? We ain't in control of that. We're not in control, but we'll see. What's up, Richie? Richie Fresh says, yo, we played this way for a reason on offense. I think this was a prep for next week. It's successfully. So if successful, you keep Lamar and Henry off the field. My take, of course. So that's the thing, man. I mean, it's the way things shook out today. But if you're going to learn something, it's sustain your drives. Keep the ball in hand, run the plays, be successful. And if you can keep Lamar Jackson off on the sideline along with King Henry and we take over, bro, that's where you want to be. That would be the ideal situation, a very smart situation. But you have to call plays that are successful that allow you to get there. So this is where execution comes into play. Execution, right? So if we can execute, we do what we're supposed to do when we sustain drives by getting and not shooting ourselves in the foot with dumb penalties. We got it. We're on top of it. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So I appreciate that, Reggie. And I hope that if they adapt that, bro, success is coming our way. Success is coming our way. Renee Ferdinand. What up, Renee? What's happening? Isn't it concerning how less we get Coleman and Cooper involved? Renee, I'm so glad you said that. I've been saying this the last month. I need more from Cooper. But we keep winning. And I keep saying I need more from Cooper, but we keep putting 30 points on the board. So then it makes me have to chill and saying he's just there to be a decoy. But it sucks because we could use his skill set. At some point, we'll have to. And I don't know if it's just we're not drawing up the plays for him or he's lost a step or two, because that could be that too. Maybe he's lost a step and we got him on the tail end of his career. I don't want to say that because I think he's still got a lot of juice left, but maybe he is on the tail end of his career. I don't know. All I do know is he's on a team that's making playoffs. He's on a team that's got a playoff win under his belt. Now he knows what it feels like to go. And now this is where we may need Amari Cooper to handle business. Marlon Humphrey, you're going to have your hands full with Amari Cooper. But I'd love to see Amari Cooper and Coleman get more involved. I mean, look, today, those two are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to receiving today. 2 receptions for 8 yards for Amari Cooper. Like, that's Amari Cooper. 2 receptions for 8 yards only off of 3 targets? Really? Like, did you guys expect this? Let's keep it a buck. When we brought in Amari Cooper, weren't you expecting something to the nature of 5 receptions, 60 yards, 7 receptions? I mean, if he gets there, 7 receptions, but 2? Fam, let me tell you something. Let me break some down for y'all, just so you have an idea of what we're getting at. Amari Cooper, in the last 5 games, we'll call it 4 games. Let me just make sure I got it right. Including the playoffs, in the last 5 games, he's got 2, 5, 4. He's got 10 receptions in the last 5 games. Those are receptions, right? And of those targets, he's got the most targets he had was against the Rams when he had 14 targets, but we also had to put up 40 plus points. Yards wise, he's at 110, 166. He's got no more. He doesn't have any more than 200 yards receiving with us. 200 yards receiving. That's the last 5 games. He's played more games than that with us, and that's including playoffs, folks. And he's got 1 touchdown with us. So we're not getting the most out of him. Why are we not? We're winning, A, and we're putting up points, B. He's playing his role. And when his number is called, I am certain of it, they're going to get him the football. But it's kind of concerning that, bro, him and Keon Coleman getting the same looks. And sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Do I like it? No. But it's just the way it is. But we're winning. And for him, and so he says, he'd prefer it that way. Hey, we're winning. That's all that matters to me. And when it's time for me to get paid and it's time for me to get my numbers up, I'll come in and handle my business. But it's not like we didn't target him. There was a target that was just a little over his head for Josh. Josh sailed it over his head. Had it been on the money, that could have been a catch, and he's in the end zone. So I'm not poo-pooing on him as the skill set player, but I would love to see a little bit more involvement from him in the game. Keon Coleman as well. But the last 5 games, man, 10 receptions. 10 receptions. And the Rams game he had 6. So take away the Rams game, 0 receptions in the Lions game, 1 reception against New England. And then he had 3 receptions against the Jets. I mean, come on, son. Like, that's it? I don't know, bro. And then he didn't play the last game, obviously against the Patriots, because he wasn't in that game. So, nah, I don't like how it's going, but I'd love for these guys to be a lot more involved. Selfishly, I'd love for them to be more involved. That's the way I look at it. Dan Bills comes in 46 months as a member. Appreciate you, my G. Love that. He says, go Bills. By the way, indeed, nobody remembers anymore that ugly win against New England 3 weeks ago. Nobody does. That's over and done with, man. We on to bigger and better things. My man King Cam says, yo, let's go Buffalo. Off topic. Go Buckeyes. I saw y'all in here rooting. Yeah, you know what time it is. 445 block says, yo, bring on the Ravens. I don't care. F them all. 17. Bro, it's all in. We got to go all in now. Richard Pierce. Appreciate that super chat, bro. Another Oliver no-show, huh? Damn. I mean, listen, we got to watch the film. We do have to watch the film. I did see one specific play that Ed Oliver got in. He penetrated easy, but he was just around the corner of making that tackle. And I think it was running back Javonte Williams just went ahead. Ed Oliver, man. I'll tell you right now, it's time for us to draft a player next year. I can't see how we don't go defensive tackle. I can't, because you're going to have a year older in Daquan Jones. Whether we bring him back, who knows? Ed Oliver, it is what it is. He's on the squad. We're going to have to get a big boy. I know we got Dwayne Carter. I know we have Javon Solomon on the edge, but we're going to need to beef up front. And need I say more? So all I'm going to say is this, man. We still got another game where he can, show out and do what he needs to do. This game wasn't it, but we also won 31-7. We allowed 200 yards, less than 79 yards rushing. So he may not show up on the stat line, but maybe he was a big part of why they couldn't run very well. So I'll leave the judgment. I got to watch the film first, and then we can decide. But if he didn't show up and he was just getting blown up, it's a different ballgame. But I think we stood our ground. I really think we stood our ground. Last but not least, another super chat coming in from Josh Sheldon. What up, Josh? Josh comes and says, Rico, what do you do against these tricky fake blitzes that Ravens linebackers do? I mean, it's all about film work, man. It's like they may show blitz, And if you're watching film enough, there's telltale signs of if they're really bringing it, if they're not. I mean, I always go back to this. Aaron Rodgers did it, where if you watch enough film, the guy comes up, he creeps up on the line. Aaron Rodgers was like, he ain't coming, back up. That's all film study. If you know your film, you know what you're trying to do offensively, shoot, I don't see it as a big problem. Now, if you haven't read any defense, you're a rookie quarterback, and you don't know what's coming, it's going to be problematic. But veteran quarterbacks that have watched the film, and it's not like it's going to be the first time we play these Ravens, we kind of have an idea of what they do. So, and both teams are far different than what they were week 4. So this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be, everyone's got to be in the film room to really figure out what's going to happen. That's what you got to happen. Richard Fresh, bot surprise appearance, only 1.5 hours back to Rock. I don't know, man. He's hanging out with his dad right now. Maybe they went to Arby's for a bite. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing, but I can rest assure you this. Bot may be back tonight. I don't know if he's going to be too jacked up. He may be back tonight and do his own show. You mean to kind of recap tonight's show, or he might come in Monday. So be tuned in Monday night. You know he's definitely going to talk about it. He's at the game. He was at the game, so he'll give you his outlook on what the game was like for him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings in. So those were my super chats for the day. I just wanted to run a couple more questions, concerns coming from y'all, and we can call it a day and wrap it up. My man, Jeff King. What up, Jeff? I freaking love Cooper, he says. He's the definition of a true professional. I totally agree with that. And he does not have a punk-ass brother from the Cowboys, who suck, by the way, coming out speaking about his business or lack thereof. I'm going to tell you this, man. Not wrong. Amari Cooper is your ultimate professional, not a peep. And when he's not getting the touches like a receiver should, because, you know, receivers can be divas, right? Y'all paid me all this money. I'm a Pro Bowler. I'm a this, I'm a that. I should be getting the football. Nah, bro. He's like, yo, when y'all call me and when y'all ready and you guys know my skill set, if you guys want to use me, you will. If you want to target me, Josh, you'll target me. The one thing that I take solace in is when you go back to the Detroit game, you go back to the Rams game, he was targeted 14 times. So it's not like they're not trying to get him the football. It's just a matter of finding the right time and right packages to put together for him. So find out what he likes to run. And right now, we haven't quite seen enough of Cooper. I haven't. At least for me, I'll speak for myself. I haven't seen him, but he's keeping his mouth shut. He's enjoying the wins. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep pushing, man. Hey, don't disturb anything now. He seems pretty happy, so we'll keep it that way. My man Walter comes in and says, yo, Ed Oliver is saving himself for the regular season next year. Yo, you're a fool. Because that's the time he shows up. He can change, but he can change the narrative. He can change the narrative. He can and show up next week with 3-sack performance. He's on. I mean, listen, man. If you want to really get at, and I'll save this for the week after, but if you really want to get at Lamar Jackson, he's tough to get at, number one. Like, the guy is shifty. He's very good in the pocket, extremely good in the pocket, and his eyes stay downfield. But if we can get him off the mark and move him out of the place and keep him contained in a way, and that's a lot to ask for, bro, we can make it a very uncomfortable day. The same way you don't stop Josh Allen. You don't stop him. You just have to slow him down. You got to do the same with Lamar Jackson. You got to slow him down. And the threat of him running always is an issue. There's no question about that. We all know that. We'll see how it all shows up. Let's see what we got here. Never Safe Saber says, show up next week and no one cares. Revenge game. Show the real MVP. Bro, we got to show up next week. There's no question about it. We got to show up. My man, Richard Forbes. What up, Richie? Been a while. I know you're always in the chat, so I appreciate you, bro. Richard Forbes comes in and says, yo, first player to have 40 touchdowns the past 5 years, bro. We know what time it is, man. We know who goes there. Let's see. Mr. West Ashley says, all those almost picks in the back end was because of our D-line. Yes, you're right. We started to get some push. That's why we've referred back to the numbers from Bo Nix. He went 13 for 22. Okay, 13 for 22, 144 yards. Right? He almost threw a pick. And I got to talk about that because I thought that was hilarious to me. But he almost threw a pick. So it's not like, we're not putting pressure on him. We are. It's just that we put the points up, and It's just now we can pin our ears back and we can do what we need to do. Now, I want to talk about something that's super hilarious. So, Damar Hamlin gets his interception. I look at these things and laugh, right? Damar Hamlin gets his interception. So he picks up the football and everybody's going wild. Normal people will normally get the interception and go to the sideline and celebrate with his teammates. Boom, boom, high fives, and away we go. Damar Hamlin, I laugh every time I see this. Damar Hamlin takes the football, runs. In my mind, I'm like, yo, did he even catch that? All right. Runs, takes his helmet off, takes his what do you call the shiesty little mask off, and then heads to the cameras. You know what I mean? To like, you know what I mean? To get all, bro, cut it out. We understand. We get it. All right. You have you're a very known player because of your circumstances, right? Your play on the field is cool. I'm not saying it's elite. I'm not saying it's trash, but it's cool. You got in there, you made some tackles today, but you didn't have to go all the way out to the earth to show your face. Look at me, yeah. Meanwhile, it's incomplete. you dropped the football. You didn't even catch it. But you're sitting here like you did something. So now your face is all over. It's going to be all over Bills media. Oh, you're not slick, bro. You're not slick, Damar Hamlin. At least make sure you scoop underneath the football in order for you to get the credit. But you did all of that to get no credit. Boy, if you don't stop your mess, if you don't stop your mess, I saw exactly what he's doing. Because I knew. God bless his soul, okay? One of my best friends that took his own life years ago, okay? And he was a good player. He got a scholarship to go to Fordham University. And he knew where the cameras were all the time. He'd get an interception. We used to laugh at him and say, yo, what are you doing? He'd get a pick. He's got a lane to go right to the sideline, right to the end zone to get himself a pick six. But he knew the cameras were on the other side of the field. What do you think this fool did? He cut back and head towards the camera to juke and jive and do all of this stuff. We used to clown him for that. I said, yo, head to the mother effing end zone, bro. Who cares about the cameras? Bro, I need that for tape. The tape needs to show it. I need that for tape. So when the schools see me, they see what I'm doing. They can't see what I'm doing on the sideline. They need to see me moving around and see my speed. Well, you better stop with that mess. So Damar Hamlin catching that football and running to the cameras. You didn't have to take your helmet off, nor did you have to take your thing off. And you're doing this. And here's the worst part. He's on the sideline knowing full well he didn't catch that football. Here's Damar. What? You didn't? Boy, you better stop. You better stop. I'm not hating on Damar, by the way. I'm not hating on Damar because truly, he's done a pretty decent job with the team. You can't even hate. He's done a decent job with the team. My man said, yo, leave him alone, man. I can't. I was laughing my ass off because I was like, bro, stop it. Just stop it. You didn't catch it, number one. And all that hoopla you doing, stop it. And then you get to the sideline and you, what? I didn't catch it? Boy, please. Anyway, I digress. I still like Damar Hamlin. I still think he's a solid player. I mean, listen, he was our second leading tackler on our squad, which I absolutely love for him, by the way. And Damar Hamlin today, 4 tackles. He had 1 solo tackle by himself, but he was getting in and nitty-gritty dirty. He was. So give him that. I'll give him that. I love what I see. So let's recap before I head out here. What's my man? Yeah, yo, Damar and Hollins love that attention. Boy, do they ever. Okay, let me get on my man Hollins. I kind of did a little bit already, but Hollins, just catch the football and just chill out, bro. You're receiver number 4 or 5. All right. And I like Hollins. That's the thing. I like Hollins. And the barefoot thing, you already have the barefoot thing. That's your thing. Walking barefoot. That's your thing. Stick to it. But you ain't got to do all that other stuff. The whole Teron Lou jumping over the Pat Surtain, you ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that. But you know what? This is your moment. Take it. But it cost us. So stop that nonsense. We ain't want that. we ain't want that. Yo, Damar's face was so funny. What? I didn't catch it? Boy, please. I'm sure he didn't make that voice, but you catch what I'm saying. Richard Forbes says, yo, Because Pitt wasn't easiest game. You guys talking about Pittsburgh. Let me see. Rico has never been more right than this take on DeMar. That was sad. It felt uncomfortable for him. I'm just saying, I saw it. I was like, yeah, what you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? Immediately, I knew. I was like, yo, did he even catch it? I'm not even sure he caught it. The replay comes in. It bobbles on the floor, pins it, and then he goes right to the, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. My man said, yo, don't be hitting on Hollins. Hey, I ain't hitting on Hollins, but I love Hollins. I love Hollins. I like it. I like what he does. But that part was funny. I got to call that out. That's funny. Rico's always hating on them. Let them boys do what they do. I'm not hating. I'm just simply pointing out what I saw. An observation. As simple as that. So let me land this plane real quick before we get out of here, because I think this has been a great opportunity for us to kind of breathe a little bit, because this whole week has been kind of like these Denver Broncos. But I always feel, I don't know about y'all, but I always feel when these games are done and said and done with, I feel more confident going into the following week, because now you got smacked. You got good. Like, even in this game, Josh Allen, I think he ran left. It was a design run to run left, and he absolutely got smacked by this player. I knew it did nothing to Josh, but when Josh got up, I was like, ooh, I think this is exactly what Josh needed. He needed that to kind of wake him up even more to go Josh mode. He didn't have to break the glass today. He didn't have to go and you know what I mean, go to Superman. But little things like that kind of get you woken up and get going. But for the most part, man, all together, love this team. Love what this team was able to do. Love that we were just in total control today. In total control. So, do we have a tall task ahead of us next week? We absolutely do. It's just going to come down to, listen, when playing a team like that, I love it because we're in a position to repay them. We're in a position to repay them, right? You got embarrassed. You got shellacked against the Ravens. There's no ands, ifs, buts about it. You got your asses handed to you. Embarrassing fashion on the road. And then you got to be on the plane and headed all the way back to Baltimore. I mean, I don't know how far it is from Baltimore, from Buffalo to Baltimore. I don't know the distance. But that's an embarrassing loss. So here's the biggest thing that I see with this game coming. I hope there's a huge chip on your shoulder. I hope you go into this game saying, bro, we got absolutely embarrassed on their turf, and they ran amok on us. And right now, the guy across from us is supposed to be the MVP. Defense, make him look like I was about to cuss there. Make him look like a pedestrian. Make him look like, I mean, shoot, let's go back. If you really want to talk about it, the game that we played against the Ravens, my man had less than 200 yards passing, if I remember correctly. Let me just make sure. He was efficient, but he didn't kill it. 13 completions for 156 yards, 2 touchdown passes. But here's the big thing, though. He went 13 for 18, and he was pretty much hitting everything he wanted. But it helps when you have a running back that's ran for 199 yards rushing. So the defense is worried about, shoot, we can't let Derrick Henry run amok on us. So everybody tighten up. So it makes life easier for him to just pick what he wants. But damn it, we didn't have Terran Johnson. We didn't have Matt Milano. We didn't have Terrell Bernard. So you and I are going to have a conversation. You know what I mean? Josh got to talk to his defense, but like, yo, handle your business. We're now fully freaking healthy. Let's roll. Let's roll. This is going to be a big-time division game. I'm pumped right now, man. But let's just wait. We got to wait. My man said, yo, Ravens also lost to the Raiders, powerhouse. What about that, Jim Rico? I know. They lost to the Raiders and lost to the Browns. We get that part. But it feels like eons ago. Now, you got 2 different teams coming. You got 2 different teams going to play each other. I mean, it was almost a great thing that these guys played in week 4. Y'all kind of have an idea, but you don't, because we're playing shorthanded. I don't know if these guys are playing too shorthanded themselves. I have no idea. And right now you have a Zay Flowers that is banged up. Could he play next week? I don't know. We'll see. So this is going to be a huge game going forward. This is going to be a huge game going forward. Is anybody going to that game? My father-in-law, I don't know what he's trying to do, but my father-in-law called me. He goes, hey, what's going on with these Bills? Are they losing? He always likes to say that. Are they losing? I was like, nah, we whooping ass right now. He goes, so where's that game next week? And in my mind, I was focused on the game. I was like, it's in Baltimore. It's in Buffalo. Baltimore's coming. And he's like, oh yeah, I wonder how those seats are. I was like, what do you? I hung up the phone. I was like, what's he trying to do here? So I'm just saying, I don't know what my old man's trying to do. My father-in-law's trying to do. But if we end up at that game, watch out. Aaron Butler, what Lamar got to do with the Ravens? Okay, you guys are chatting. But anyways, folks, this is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the game. This was an amazing game. It was good to just get a dub. It was good to get a W. You know what I'm saying? Let me crack that up a little bit. It was good to get a W in the column. Now, rest up. I hope we see Ray Davis back healthy. I hope it was just they're taking precaution to kind of maybe hold off. Maybe we don't see him. Maybe we see it's going to be Frank Gore Jr., James Cook, and Ty Johnson. Who knows how this all going to play out? So that's who we'll see next week. We got the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be talk of the town. So right now, let me just take a look at what the scores are going on right now in the NFL. I think the Eagles game is on. So the Eagles are up 10-3 in the third. It feels like every one of these games have been defensive thus far. I don't know if it's just the nerves that are people just kind of getting rid of the nerves right now, but it seems as though all games have been pretty close until it's not. So we'll see how it keeps playing out. It seems as though, the Bills game, although it was a 31-7 beatdown, it was close. Halftime, it was 10-7. 10-7 and a half. So keep that in mind, man. So we will prevail. We move on to next week. It's a big week. If you guys do me a favor, if you guys enjoyed this show, I'm not used to being on the show by myself. We made a decision, me and Z-Bot, to go live together because I felt that it was the best of both worlds, right? We have two different personalities. I think you guys all love it. And I feel kind of solo dolo without my homie Z-Bot. So we'll get back to it next week, hopefully. And unless he's going back to another playoff game. If you're going to do it, do it. But I want you guys to listen to what Cassandra Turner's saying. She's saying for y'all to do me a favor, like and subscribe. There's what we got 1,900 people watching all together from Twitter, from YouTube. We got 500 right now on YouTube. So do me a favor, hit that like button right now. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't followed your boy on social media, on Twitter, go ahead and follow me right here on Twitter, Rico_BF_, and we go from there. So, folks, Bills win 31-7. Great win. You get to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. No stress, because I'll tell you right now, I was on edge. I was coaching my daughter's soccer game today. They tied, and one of the coaches was like, yo, man, you must be stressed out a little bit. I was like, why? He goes, you got your Bills playing today. It's playoffs. We got the girls playing one of the toughest teams. I was like, yo, we good, man. Meanwhile, I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure, but we'll see how that goes. But listen, we will see y'all again Tuesday. Hit me up on Bleacher. I'll be on Bleacher Report Tuesday, and then we're back at it again Monday with my man Z-Bot, Tuesday with me. Then I'll try to get a Wednesday show in with my guy Carl Jones. We weren't able to connect last week, but we're going to try to connect this week. And then we're back at it again on Friday night with my man's Z-Bot. So, folks, enjoy your evening. Let me get my music, my outro music on, and we'll go from there. We're going to have a banger show for you on Tuesday, because we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk about our the milk carton, who deserves to be on the milk carton, who doesn't, on tonight. So, folks, take a breath, enjoy the rest of the day. Things are just going to taste much better. I already smelled the food there, and I feel real. By the way, my son on the shoulders on Friday, and I'm like, why do you tell that? He seemed like I already asleep. Correct. You're responsible. But anyway, that's my topic. You guys enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of the week. Tomorrow, last you guys know what time. It's Bills all day. Enjoy it. Happy Bills day. Catch you guys next week. Peace.